Podcast. Presented by XFL2K.com. With your host, Tron Hawkins.
Welcome to episode 3 of This is the XFL Podcast. I am your host, Tron Hawkins. First off, I want to thank everybody on my Twitter and on the podcast sites for supporting me. In the last week or so since I started, I have 93 followers on Twitter. Had about 50 listens on my podcast. I know that's not sound like a whole lot, but for a guy who's just recording on some headphones and his phone, it's a big deal. And I'm having fun. I can't wait to travel down this road to 2020 and kind of start then, really get into the podcast, doing the pre-game, the post-game, previews, reviews, hopefully some fantasy stuff if XFL finally has fantasy. I'm just a guy recording on my phone. It's raw, it's unedited, it's just me. Occasionally, one day I'm going to hopefully have a co-host or two. I plan on doing some of the other XFL podcasters' shows. They reached out to me, which is huge. If you're listening to this, thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me, like Thirst and Goal podcast out in California. There's some people just inbox me on Twitter, saying, "Hey, what do you think about this idea and this idea for the XFL?" And it is great because I know they listen to the show. If you're listening and you're on my Twitter, leave me a review on Twitter. Leave me a review on whatever podcast system you're on, but especially on Twitter. Share. Tweet at me, tell people to listen to me. It means a lot. I'm not trying to get famous off of it. I'm just trying to have some fun. My girlfriend, her and her son stay with me on the weekends. So during the week, I'm just here kind of by myself, and it gives me something to do. And it's fun, and I enjoy giving y'all information. So today I'm going to be ranking the XFL stadiums. And I like these stadiums. And again, this is just my personal opinion. So don't tweet at me. You can tweet at me, and you can give me your opinion, and I'm going to probably ask for it. When they announced the cities, I was wondering, hey, what stadiums are going to? Because I think a lot of people thought they was going to go to towns that didn't have football. Well, instead, they went to most towns that have football, but they went to different stadiums on a lot of them. And I'm going to rank them 8 to 1. I like how they went from pro teams, stadiums, baseball stadiums, college stadiums, soccer stadiums. I really like the different stadiums they have included for the XFL, and I think it's going to add to the ambiance of it, the different settings and everything. So I'm going to start with number 8. I'm not going to go into too much detail on each one. I'm going to some, and why I don't like them, and why I do like them, and whatnot. But I'm not going to go in depth because my show is going to be more easy listening. 20 minutes tops, 20 to 30 minutes maybe if it's a good topic. For now, come draft time and all that, I'm going to be more in depth. But right now it's just kind of like an easy listening thing, and kind of just something you can listen to while you work out on your way to work or just when you're bored. Hell, sometimes I listen to my own podcast just to hear how I sound. I love my voice. So here we go. Number 8 is going to be controversial, and a lot of people are going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? It's MetLife Stadium. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, that's probably the nicest stadium out of the 8. And you're right. It's a very nice stadium. It's in the biggest city in the world. My problem with this stadium for the XFL is it's too big. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not downing the XFL. I'm excited for it. I'm not negative about it like some people are. Some people want it to die. Hell, there's people on their Facebook going about, it's going to fail again. Why do you like their Facebook if you think it's going to fail again? It's not that I don't like it. I love MetLife. As a WWE fan, I'm excited about WrestleMania being there this year. They've had a Super Bowl there, even though it was crap. They've had a WrestleMania there. They've had big concerts. My problem is 2 things. 1, it's too big. 2, it's actually 3 things. 2, it's in New Jersey. It's not even in New York. And 3, there were smaller stadiums, like soccer stadiums, in New York, like where the Red Bulls play and stuff, that they could have went to. But instead, they're going to have to tarp this off. And if you look at the picture of the stadium, it's kind of 3-tiered. They're going to have to top off the top. Let's be honest. Don't Don't come at me going, oh, they could sell 80,000 tickets. No, they can't. I'd be surprised. Again, I mean, it's a bad way. 30,000 probably tops. I could see them filling up the first two little sections, but the top nosebleeds are probably going to be roped off now or tarped off. But the way they can fill it up somehow is two things. One, get a big name player. Get a Tebow. Get, I hate to admit it, get a Colin Kaepernick. Get a Michael Vick even, which I doubt he'll come. But get somebody like that and make the tickets cheaper like you've been talking about. They've been talking about making it family affordable. If they can do cheap tickets, then maybe one day they'll be able to sell it out. Again, I'm not doubting the XFL. I love the XFL. I'm excited for it to be back, and I'm glad they got a team in New York again. Hopefully it's the Hitmen. When the names come out, we will talk about it. But I just think it's too big of a stadium for what they're trying to do. I mean, it makes no sense why they have an 80,000 seat stadium one place. I talked about this on the episode 1. Have an 80,000 place one place, then bam, 20,000, somewhere else. I mean, I get that it's New York. I get it. Everything's bigger in New York. It's the Big Apple. It's the biggest city in the world. And, of course, Vince is going to go there because he has a hard-on from New York. But I just think it's too big for what the XFL is right now. So that's number 8. I know it's going to be controversial. I know that I'm probably going to get tweeted at, especially from New Yorkers, because they love their stuff up there. But I just think it's too big for what they're trying to do. So my number 7 is the Dome at America's Center in St. Louis. I'm so happy that St. Louis is getting a team. And I've gone on record on my Twitter saying I think I'm going to be rooting for St. Louis because they're the little underdog. I don't want to say underdog, but they're the orphanage. Like, they're the orphan in this whole league. They didn't have a team for a while. And in my next episode 4, I'm going to be going over the pro football history of St. Louis, starting from the St. Louis Cardinals through the Rams to the XFL. Like a brief little history of St. Louis football. That's going to be my next episode. Got a lot of love and retweets on that, so I'm pretty excited about doing that episode. Probably sometime next week. The reason why I don't like this stadium and it's because it's kind of dark and dingy. Like, I remember watching Rams games there, and it's just kind of dark, dingy. I mean, I know that's how they had it, probably, but I just don't like it. It's not appealing to the eye, I guess. Now, I know there's a bunch of football fans listen to my podcast. Am I the only person that hates the Saints Stadium? It's like dark and smoky in there all the time in the Superdome in New Orleans. That's how I kind of feel like this is when it was the Trans World Dome and Edward Jones Dome. But it was home to the greatest show on turf. They had some big events there. The Rams spent 21 years there, and it's been kind of not empty, but they've just been doing kind of concerts and stuff there and using it for the convention center and whatnot. But now football's back. Football's where it belongs in St. Louis, and it's the oldest, one of the oldest stadiums in the league in the XFL. Well, it might be the oldest, to be honest with you. It's dark, it's dingy, but if St. Louis, since they're getting football back, and since it's going to be the first game there by the time this rolls around for about 5 years, or right at 4 really, but we're going to go 5 years. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking inside that dome come 2020. If it was me, the first week of the season, you have the LA team travel to St. Louis prime time. That's that first Saturday. I think that should be game 2 of the first XFL doubleheader. LA at St. Louis. Let's get it started. St. Louis is going to be in the Eastern Division. LA is going to be in the Western. They're only going to meet, I think, once, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do it at the Dome. Let's open the XFL. You know what? Let it be the first game. We need to open 2020 February 8th at the Dome in St. Louis. Let's bring football back to the fans by giving it back to the fans in St. Louis. So let's do that. Let's do the first game. XFL people, I doubt you're listening, but if you are, please, God, did they be game in St. Louis. Please, it's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. Football's going to be home in St. Louis. It's going to be home to the fans. Please just bring it there. Again, it's nothing against St. Louis, nothing against the Dome. I just think it's dark and dingy, not the best thing to look at. So that's number 7. Again, all the stadiums are nice. This is just me ranking them. Number 6 is StubHub, the StubHub Center. a lot of these stadiums I've seen on TV a lot. The Dome's been a while. Some of the upper ones, I'll be talking about later. I haven't really seen a football game there, and you'll find out later what I mean. The pros of this place is it's a soccer stadium. It's smaller. It's more intimate. And, it's compact, and that's what I like about some of these stadiums, how small they are. It's going to make you feel close to the field. The downside is I've seen the Chargers play there, the last couple of seasons, and it just don't look appealing, really. And, they talk about L.A. being a football town, and I talked about this on my cities and, venues being announced, episode 1. L.A. hasn't really been coming out for their football teams. I don't know if y'all noticed or not. Chargers, I don't think they had a damn home game since they've been there. They fill up that 20,000-seat stadium with away team people. And then you got the Rams, who's also in LA. I know they don't play StubHub, but the Rams couldn't even sell a playoff game last year against my Falcons. So it makes you wonder, if that's maybe why they picked a smaller stadium. Thank God they didn't go back to the Coliseum, because that place is a dump. So at least they went to a newer area. It's home of the Galaxy. It's a soccer stadium. That's their primary tenant. It's a nice stadium. Don't get me wrong. I like the way it looks and everything, but it just don't look good when they're football there. Like, I've seen the Chargers play there. It's not really that good of looking of a stadium. It has a pretty good atmosphere. Because it's a soccer stadium, it's close by. They've had soccer events there. It's going to host some of the 2028 Summer Olympic stuff. They've had concerts there. I just don't like how it looks doing football. Now the crazy thing is the MLS Cup's been there a few times. Getting 30,000 people, which was the record before Atlanta United blew out of the water. I think XFL could beat that. I think XFL could get over 30,000 for a game. Maybe not the first year, but at some point I think they can get that much. They added to it. They added bleachers and stuff. They had about 1,000 seats when the Chargers got there. They added radio booths and stuff. So they added 2 locker rooms for the football teams. So the good thing is that the XFL's moving there, and they're kind of just taking over from the Chargers. Because by the end, the Chargers will be going to the new stadium with the Rams. So they're kind of just filling in what the Chargers are. So, it's a soccer stadium, but it has been upgraded for football. So I think it's going to be a good home for the XFL team. I think LA is a good spot because it's the second biggest city in the world. Entertainment capital of the world, too. I just don't like how it looks on TV, I guess, and I just don't think it's a great football stadium. The fans are going to have great views, but just us as fans that can't get out there watching it, I'm just not a big fan of it. Now, number 5, it's not so much I don't like the stadium, I just ain't seen it enough. But the reason I had it ranked above the other 3 is because where it's at, and how you can let me get some drink. They can use where it's at to their advantage, like the XFL can. So, number 5 is TDECU Stadium in Houston. Now, the reason I put this one at 5 is, one, it's at a college, which I think is awesome. Can you imagine going to school there and getting tickets to go to the XFL play? Can you imagine, it's the Saturday before spring break, let's party after the XFL game. So I think it's awesome. Again, it's a 40,000 seat stadium, which to me is about right. 20 to 40,000 is about right. That's why I had MetLife at number 8. And the Dome, Dome can fit a lot of people too. That's why it was kind of at 7. This seems more inside the realm of possibility. 40,000, 20 to 40,000. It's fairly new. Opened August 29th, 2014. So it's going to be about 6 years old, which is fairly new. By the time the XFL, debuts in 2020. the reason why I like it, it's on the Houston campus. They can use their practice facilities. They kind of, I don't want to say they're basing it. They're going to be doing the spring league in Texas this coming up year. And, they could do training camps, get all 8 teams together at the facilities in Houston. They can use the practice facilities. They can use the stadium. I think that it'd be smart to use the Houston area since they can use the colleges, and they already talked about it. They can use the colleges facilities and everything. He'll let the players dorm up together and stuff. Get some bonding going on when they do training camps. I think it'd be great. I have it at 5. It's in the middle of the pack, almost. It's a 40,000 seat stadium. Like I said, I think that's perfect. It's fairly new. Students, you're gonna have students there. That's the thing. It's gonna be rocking there because you're gonna have students there. It ain't like they have an NFL team and they have a college team, obviously. But to get those college kids in there and root for the alternative, I ain't saying the XFL is going to be kind of built towards millennials. It's going to be kind of a mix between millennial rules and old school football. But get them in there and get them rocking. Get this. Have a student night. Give away tickets to honor students or something. I don't know. Just have it in there. Get those college kids in there. Get them a little bit tipsy. And let them be rowdy. I think, and imagine when Houston plays Dallas. That's going to be another week 1 game. Give me LA and St. Louis. Give me Houston and Dallas that first week. And just leave me alone. And I'll be happy with the other games, like Tampa and Seattle maybe. And let's see who else is it. Washington and New York. Hell yeah. Washington, New York, Tampa, Seattle, Houston, Dallas, LA, St. Louis. Give me that week 1, February 8th and 9th. Or 8th and 9th, 9th and 10th, I don't know. Give me that weekend, and I'll just sit there quietly with my popcorn, with my girlfriend, just watching football all weekend. That has me excited. I'm ready to go. But yeah, Houston number 5. I think it's a great stadium. It's a new stadium. I like where it's at. Number 4, we're going back to an NFL stadium. Clicked on the wrong thing here. I'm sorry. Let's see. It's going to be Tampa. It's going to be Raymond James Stadium. Now, again, I have nothing against the stadium. It is wonderful. I like watching TV. I like watching games on TV. It's hot. It's going to be hot there in February even. It's the new sombrero. It's got the pirate ship out there. I think Tampa's a good spot for the XFL for 2 reasons. 1, it's Florida. And you have to have a team in Florida. It's a hotbed. It's a hotbed for football. Florida is. 2, people don't realize that snowbirds come down from Canada to Florida. That time of year. Maybe, they need something to do. They can go to the XFL game, 5 times out of the year. I love the stadium. It's hosted a couple of Super Bowls. 35 with the Ravens and blowing out the Giants. It's going to hold, it held 33, which is my favorite football game of all time, Pittsburgh and Arizona, and a classic. And then it's going to host Super Bowl 45 in 2020. Think about this. It is possible. I'm sorry, 2021, 20 season. But, it is possible for 1 week it's going to host Super Bowl. Next week, it's going to host an XFL game come 2021. And yes, XFL will be around come 2021. Fight me. The only thing I don't like about the stadium is, again, the size. I think if they would have stuck to the smaller venues, the 20 to 40,000 range, which, again, I'm going to harp on that probably for the next year. We'll see what attendance is like. They have to start signing players in early 2019. They got to start building the hype to let us know it's real. And we got cities and we got the XFL name. And we got a vague understanding of the rules. We don't know all the rules yet. So, they got to sell us on something. Until the cities were announced, I'm sitting there going, are they really doing this? But yeah, I think this is going to be... it's going to be great. I think Tampa is a great place. It's held national championships, playoff games, Tampa. To be honest with you, the Tampa Bay team ain't been great the last few years. If XFL can get in there and give them a winning team, I think they'll come out. I don't think they're gonna fill out 70,000 seats. I can see them doing half that. 35,000 in Florida. It's anywhere in Florida with a beach and a name like Tampa, Miami, Orlando. I'm amazed they didn't go to Miami. The Miami Vices would have been a good team name. But anywhere with a name like Tampa and Miami, in Florida, there's going to be visitors there. They're going to be tourists, especially in the colder months up here and going up north, coming down to Florida. I think they do well. Again, Raymond James Stadium is number 4. Ray J, as they call them. So number 3 on the my rankings of the venues. Again, tweet me. Follow me on Twitter at @is_XFL. This is the XFL podcast on Facebook. That's my 2 main things. Like my page. Follow me on Apple. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Google. Anywhere you can get podcasts at, pretty much. Number 3 is CenturyLink Field in Seattle. To me, I don't know if anybody agrees with me, Seattle was the one place I was like, oh, they're getting an XFL team? St. Louis, you kind of can see coming from a mile away. Be honest with you, if it wasn't for the AAF, I think San Diego would have got a team. I think Oakland might be an expansion team one day. Maybe Atlanta. Well, I hope so. But when they said soccer, I was like, really? Seattle's gonna get an XFL team. And again, usually I harp on it being too big. They could do soccer stadiums. CenturyLink Field is Seattle's soccer stadium. It's where the Sounders play. And the reason why I rank this one pretty high, even though as many people as it can hold 69,000. It can hold 39,000 for MLS because they tarp off the top. And I've seen videos. I don't watch soccer a lot, but I've seen videos of the soccer there, and they tape it off or tarp it off at the top, and they make it look good. They make it look really good, even though it's not a packed house. It's only got 39,000 people in there. So that got me to thinking. You got the loudest to me place in the world football wise. I know it's only Kansas City, but you haven't caused an earthquake. So you got the loudest stadium. It looks good on TV when it's tarped off, like they're going to probably need to do. And it's in a city that loves their football. The last few years, let's be honest, when it was in the Kingdom and stuff, nobody really gave a crap about Seattle. But since they've been good, they do. And even the radio host up there in Seattle said they're excited about the XFL. They're more excited for the XFL than the NHL because they just got an NHL team. Pete Carroll said, of course, they think that XFL is a good idea. Pete Carroll, the head coach of one of the best teams in the league the last 5-10 years, thinks it's a good idea to be here. I think the fans will come out. They're gonna be rowdy. Let's get XFL some 12s. Like I said, it's gonna look good, tarped off like they need to do. So that's why it's number 3. The other 2's higher just because of the atmosphere, and I'm kind of interested in what it's gonna look like. So number 2 is Dallas. They're playing at a damn baseball field. When they announced where it was at, I knew they couldn't do Jerry World. I got that, but they're gonna turn Globe Life Park, the Rangers baseball field, into a football field. And here's why it's number 2. The primary tenant is going to be the Dallas XFL team. They're the only team that has primary tenants on their thing. So they're going to turn this baseball field and recondition it. They're changing the way stadiums are going to be done here in Dallas. A lot of times it'd be torn down. It'd be a parking lot or a mini mall or just mostly a parking lot for a new stadium 9 times out of 10. And now it's going to be a damn football field. It's a wonderful venue. A lot of people love the stadium. The only problem is it didn't have a retractable roof, and it gets hot in Texas. So they're building a new, even though the stadium is not that old, they're building a new stadium with a retractable roof, and now they're going to have to figure out what they do with this old one. So what they're going to do is they're going to turn it into a football field. And it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like as a football field, which I haven't seen any plans or anything for what it could look like as a football field, but I'm excited to see it because it's a beautiful stadium. From what I got to looking at on Wikipedia, it says for football it can hold about 25,000 people. So like I said, they're going to redo it, make it football friendly. And I think more than anything, just the thought of a baseball field. I ain't talking about like Oakland either, but like this one's like an intimate. It's gonna be like an intimate field. I don't know if y'all remember from 2001. To me, the coolest stadium in the original XFL was in San Francisco, and that's where they had the most fans at. because it's just unique watching a game there. And I think they're going to have the same thing in Dallas. It's Texas loves their football. So to me, Texas and Houston is going to, and St. Louis is going to the top three attendance numbers to come 2020. St. Louis, Houston, Dallas. And St. Louis is leading all the teams in Twitter followers. So, it's going to be interesting to see that. But I think those three is going to be the highest ranked attendance numbers. So that's why I got Dallas number 2, just for the uniqueness of it, the fact that they're turning a baseball field into a football field, making it intimate, and they're going to be the primary tenants. Number 1, if you did, if you kind of figured it out by now, let me go over it again. New York was number 8. St. Louis was number 7. LA StubHub was 6. Houston TD-ECU Stadium was 5. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa was 4. CenturyLink was 3. Globe Life in Dallas was 2. Number 1, Audi Field in Washington. This stadium is just dope. It's been open, by the time XFL starts, it's been open a year and a half. It's the newest stadium there. It's intimate. It's exactly what they needed to find in a stadium. It's 20,000 people. It's intimate. They're going to have it rocking. It's in a great part of the neighborhood out there in Washington, close to Washington Nationals Park. It's the home stadium of DC United. It's going to be, the fan experience there is going to be insane. It's really nice. It's going to be intimate. They're going to be right there on the field. I think it's the best stadium they have in XFL. The only downside to it, and I know I ranked it number 1, is the way that the soccer team, DC United, is kind of pissed off by XFL being there. I don't know if y'all heard the reports or not. They want XFL to cover any damage to the field, and they don't want to schedule an XFL game and a soccer game within the same week, because it's going to be going on at the same time. So they're kind of pissed off about it, them doing that there. They said, hey, if it needs restarting or anything, XFL is going to have to pay for it. Like Vince McMahon and a damn billionaire, he'll pay for it. Stop being babies, share the stadium. It's a really nice stadium. It's state of the art. It's the newest stadium in the MLS, and it's the newest stadium in the XFL. I think it's going to be great to see on TV. It's going to be a hell of an atmosphere out there in the nation's capital, and it is my number 1 venue for the XFL. That's all for this week. It's getting kind of late. Time to go to bed. I got to work in the morning. This episode, not this week. This is my second episode this week. As soon as I can, I'm going to record an episode on the football history of St. Louis. It might be Sunday night, Monday, after TLC. It might be Sunday night. But I'm going to go over the history of the St. Louis Cardinals, all the way down to the greatest show on turf, to the XFL St. Louis team. It's not going to be totally in-depth. We're going to kind of get over kind of like a book note, kind of like just a St. Louis football for dummies. Again, thank y'all for the support. Thank you for liking me on Twitter and listening to my podcast. It's raw, it's uncensored. There's no intro music, no outro music. There's no special effects. It's just me, my headphones, and a cell phone. This is going to be my hobby for the next, hopefully a few years. If y'all have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. If you have any reviews, just leave me a review on Twitter, even if it's negative. Again, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Hopefully I get better at this as it goes. I used to not be able to talk to, anybody, and here I am making a podcast. So I appreciate everything. If you have any questions, let me know. I know everybody's excited about my St. Louis episode. Can't wait to get it out. Thank y'all. Good night. And less stall, more podcast, I guess. All right. Good night, everybody.